Sometimes stories don't begin with a script. They don't begin with a crew or equipment or even a plan. Sometimes they begin as a thought, a small invisible spark that won't leave you. That's how my first film began. It was called The Overlook. I didn't plan it. In fact, I came up with it on my way to class one morning. It was 8 a.m., and like every other student, I was half awake, half lost in my thoughts. But somewhere between the walk to campus, a story appeared in my head. The idea stayed with me through the lecture. I couldn't stop turning it over in my head. By the time class ended at 10 a.m., I knew I couldn't wait. I had 3 hours before the next lecture, 3 hours to turn a thought into a film.
Action, Daisy, enda. Endelea na story. Kuja tu. Ndio amefika. Cut. Ona, sasa ukikuja usimaindi hao watu sawa, hata usiangalie usicheke. Ona, unaweza tumia simu yako tu ukipita. Na ukipita usipite kama umepoint, kama umeenda sawa. Alafu kuja hivi utasimama hivi, alafu pia sasa umwangalie sawa.
I didn't have a camera, I didn't have sound gear, I didn't even have a script. What I did have was an old iPhone 5S, a few classmates, and the stubborn belief that this story needed to exist. A guy, a girl, in silence. He tries to talk to her, but she doesn't respond. He grows frustrated, even cruel, and only at the end does he realize the truth. She's deaf. So I gathered my friends, we start outside. I picked out who would act. The rest, they become extras, sitting in the background telling stories like they've been cast for the scene.
Ben, wewe ndio main character.
Kwani mimi ndio niliandika hiyo song. Sijui ndio nimeandika hiyo song.
Unasikia? Ndio anakuja. Ben ushamuona. Endeleeni. Mskume. Timo, mskume sasa. Na Britain. Akikuona utakuwa amemess, sijui akikuona atakuangalia.
We shot everything in about an hour and a half. No light, no proper blocking, no sound recording. Later on, I stitched it together using a voiceover.
Hello, I'm Ben. I saw you walking by and I loved your outfit, he said awkwardly. Maria did not reply. He kept talking and then got to the important part. Can I have your number? He asked cowardly.
Despite its flaws, the shaky camera, the rough edits, the missing sound, the Overlook became something more than I expected. It was raw, it was imperfect, but it was mine. And it taught me a lesson I carry to this day, because filmmaking isn't just about pointing a camera. It's not about having the best gear or waiting for the perfect condition. Filmmaking is about perspective, about empathy, about daring to capture a moment even when you don't know how it will turn out. Looking back, I realized the Overlook wasn't really about a boy chasing a girl. It was about me learning to listen. To listen not just to dialogue or sound, but to silence. To listen to what people aren't saying. To listen to the truth that sits quietly in the background, waiting for someone to notice them. That was my first film. Imperfect, messy, made in a rush between classes, and yet it was the film that made me a filmmaker.
You might notice I respond. Ajibu. Angalia kando. Amua ku left. Kiangalia nyuma.
If you are a creative, I want you to hear this. Your first work won't be perfect. It won't be polished. But it will be the most important thing you ever make. Because the moment you start, you stop being a dreamer, you become a creator. And maybe that's the real secret. Great art doesn't come from waiting. It comes from beginning.
Action. Action. Tashinda hapa.